Comrades, our party's Central Committee instructed our delegation to support the holding of this meeting in Bucharest. In our view, this exchange of opinions is extremely necessary. We welcome the initiative taken by the CPSU, and we thank the Romanian Workers' Party for organizing this meeting. We also extend our greetings to all comrades present. Before anything else, I would like to return to one of the key conclusions of the Moscow Declaration, the conclusion that war is not inevitable, and to several other important questions. Regarding the declaration as a whole, I do not think there is any need to reopen its general discussion, because during these past years, life itself has proven the correctness of the Moscow Declaration. Since 1957, the international communist movement has grown stronger, and the positions of imperialism have weakened. I will mention only two facts. During this period, a whole series of countries achieved independence, even though in these years no proletarian revolution occurred in any single country. The position of the working class in the capitalist world became stronger. These successes confirm the conclusion made in the declaration, that war is not an unavoidable fate, and that the policies of peace, détente, and coexistence can indeed prevail. I fully share the opinions expressed here by comrades Gomulka and Ulbricht. Their assessment corresponds to reality and reflects the political maturity of our movement. I can say with certainty that the position of the Hungarian Socialist Workers' Party has also greatly strengthened. Our struggle for peace has played an essential role in strengthening our internal position and in gaining support among workers and progressive people beyond our borders. Undoubtedly, the peaceful policy carried out by communist parties has attracted many new supporters, not only in our own countries, but even in capitalist states. These successes are the result of the Moscow Declaration, signed jointly by the parties represented here today. The reason for these achievements lies in the fact that in implementing the declaration, we stood together as a united front, shoulder to shoulder. Yet recently, certain statements made by the Chinese comrades contradict this common line. Their statements have caused confusion among our ranks and have introduced an unnecessary tension at a moment when unity is crucial. The Central Committee of our party believes that we must continue the struggle for peace, for peaceful coexistence, for preventing war whenever even the slightest possibility exists. If there is even 1% chance to prevent a war, then we must use all our strength to achieve it. I do not claim to be an expert in modern military technology, but history shows that war always brings immeasurable suffering and enormous destruction to the people. In the case of a nuclear war, millions upon millions would perish, and priceless achievements of humanity would be destroyed. We cannot allow such a catastrophe. Most Americans are honest people. Therefore, we believe that communist parties must fight for peace, not mechanically, but out of responsibility toward humanity itself. Peaceful coexistence does not mean illusions. It means recognizing that imperialism still exists, that it still holds aggressive tendencies, but that war can nevertheless be prevented, and imperialism can be restrained. If imperialism starts a war, we will crush it, but to start a war ourselves, or to act as if war is desirable, would be irrational, irresponsible, and would isolate us from the very masses we claim to defend. Some time ago, in the theoretical journal of the Chinese Communist Party, Hongqi, I read the following sentence. In the event of war, many people will die, but these sacrifices will be justified. We cannot accept such a position. You could perhaps hear such words thousands of years ago, when life had a different value. But today, in an age of nuclear weapons, in an age when humanity has the power to destroy itself, no responsible communist can speak in such terms. If, hypothetically, a new socialist system arrives tomorrow, but to achieve it we must burn an old woman alive, no one would agree to such a method. This is why we say, we cannot approach these questions mechanically, nor with indifference toward human life. Our concern here is not abstract theory, but whether humanity itself will survive. We are shaking the foundations of the imperialist Cold War policy. We are shortening the lifespan of imperialism, And our peaceful policy has already produced cracks within the imperialist camp. This is only the beginning of the victories achieved by our movement. As Comrade Gomulka said at one of the plenums, we must force the imperialists to sit down and negotiate with us, to face us not with weapons, but at the table. We can compel them to stop nuclear tests. And today, we can see that deep political crises have emerged in several major capitalist countries. Comrade Khrushchev and other comrades said it clearly. Capitalists, imagine a world without war, in which you will not produce weapons, but commodities which we will buy from you. This is possible, and it is rational. A shift toward peaceful production would cause great damage to capitalism. But we are striving precisely for this shift. And we know, if they truly cease nuclear tests, their governments will face internal collapse from the contradictions they cannot resolve. We do not publicly propagate this, but we understand it perfectly. Allow me to be frank. The statements made recently by Chinese comrades remind me of something we experienced inside our own party in the 1930s. Back then, leftist groups used to say, the worse the situation becomes, the better it is for us. And they told workers that unemployment and misery served the revolution. But the workers did not support such madness. We should not repeat old mistakes, nor allow room for theories that treat human suffering as a tactical advantage. Regarding the present disagreements, we consider the CPSU's position correct. But what matters is between whom the disagreements exist. These are not disagreements between the CCP and the CPSU alone, nor disputes about the decisions of the 20th or 21st Congresses of the CPSU. It is true that the decisions of one party are not automatically binding on another. However, the positions adopted at the 20th Congress, positions which we all accepted, have become a shared foundation of our movement. Without the 20th Congress, there would not even be a Moscow Declaration. That is the essential point. Kádár continues and explains that all 12 parties gathered here are discussing the same document, the same declaration they had all signed. Yet the Chinese comrades now seem to be rejecting their own previous statements. He recalls Mao Zedong's words from the Moscow meeting, that socialism needed 10 to 15 years of peace. Otherwise, humanity could not avoid war. These were Mao's own words. And now his representatives appear to contradict him. This contradiction must be clarified, not through insults or accusations, but through comradely discussion, through persuasion, through verifying which position is correct. If the discussions prove that certain views are incorrect, then those who hold them must abandon them. This is our responsibility before the entire international communist movement. The declaration clearly states that war is not inevitable. And we believe that this principle remains valid today and will remain valid in the future. In one of the articles published in the journal Hongqi this April, it is written that as long as imperialism exists, war is inevitable. Such a statement contradicts the declaration we all signed. If people are given these two opposing viewpoints, it will become clear to them who has deviated from the declaration. We are not accusing any one party. We are speaking about what is incorrect and what must be abandoned. Forgive me, but the views expressed in that article from Hongqi are, in my opinion, incorrect and harmful. More than 3 years have passed since the Moscow Declaration, and much has changed. Every party is free to reflect on whether certain formulations are now outdated. If they have indeed become outdated, then we must analyze them together and revise them together. Just now, Comrade Peng Jin stated that the Chinese comrades believe one formulation, originally proposed by the 20th Congress of the CPSU and included in the declaration, must now be changed. He said they agreed to include that point in the declaration only to align it with the wording of the 20th Congress. If any party disagrees with this viewpoint, it should openly state its disagreement regarding the form in which disagreement should be expressed. This can always be arranged comradely and respectfully. But if the Chinese Communist Party has come to the conclusion that the CPSU or any other party has abandoned Marxism, then logically, a meeting like this should have been called immediately. The methods to which the Chinese comrades have resorted must be subject to criticism. This does not mean we are criticizing the Chinese people. We condemn the methods, not the nation. If any other party had acted in such a way, our Central Committee would also take the same position. This is not a matter of nationality, but of principle. The World Federation of Trade Unions is not a party organization. Yet Chinese comrades used its session to declare that disagreements existed among fraternal parties. This is not correct and not responsible. They even accused a CPSU leader and a member of the Italian Communist Party's Central Committee of opportunism, simply because they support peaceful coexistence. This is unacceptable. We cannot consider the behavior of the Chinese comrades in Budapest as correct. It was wrong to distribute the brochure "Long Live Leninism" in that context. But let me raise another point. In Budapest, all Chinese comrades know the address of our Central Committee. Some of our CC members have visited China in the past. If the Chinese comrades wished to learn our opinion about the articles they published, they could have come directly to the CC, asked, and received an official answer. Instead, they visited newspaper editorial offices and district party secretaries, asking them for unofficial opinions on matters concerning the entire international movement. This method is not acceptable, and the Chinese comrades condemn Yugoslavia. Yet they behave in precisely the way they accuse Yugoslavia of behaving. Khrushchev, yes. Yugoslavia acts exactly like that. Novotny, even worse than Yugoslavia. K with acute DA with acute R. Whatever party might behave like this, we would still protest. And therefore I must protest to the Chinese comrades regarding the unity of the socialist camp. This unity is not only a moral force, but also a military force. Our enemies already use our disagreements to achieve their goals. Western news agencies broadcast the Chinese statements everywhere. And they do this not because they love the Chinese comrades, but because they hope to sow doubt among the masses. Doubt about the peaceful character of communist parties. We must not allow imperialism to use our disagreements to weaken our unity. For this reason, our delegation asks the Chinese comrades to carefully reconsider all the questions raised here. We believe that we must draft a joint communiqué, a short one, in which we reaffirm that the principles of the Moscow Declaration remain a common foundation for our action. Before publishing the communiqué, we must inform the communist parties of capitalist countries so they can express their support, just as was done during the Moscow meeting. And finally, we are ready to meet again, as many times as necessary, to study these issues even more deeply. The Central Committee of our party is ready to send representatives anywhere, at any time, so long as such a meeting can take place as soon as possible. Thank you for your attention.